Hey, Shaggy SoCal, hang on. I want to reset the audio because I got to reset my mic so everything's in sync. Good afternoon, Shaggy SoCal with 12 for Forza. And after a really frustrating, I think it's the best word, frustrating week of previous week at Thursday Night Thunder. And again, frustrating not from the actual race itself, but just Forza lobby issues in general, especially in the first race. Uh, the races themselves turned out to be pretty good, but anyhow, not gonna. I mean, at least Turn 10 is now admitting that yeah, there's issues. Really? So, but that's not what I'm streaming here for. So coming up next week, we've got our two. I guess you would call this upcoming races the fantasy week because we're going to be racing at Hakone here in which is the new one of the new of I think new of three brand new circuits to Forza Motorsport. And then the second race is going to be at Grand Oak, which we were at, I believe, a different version of that, I think, in the first season and the Hondas. But we're going to do a different layout for this Corvette C8R. But we're here at Hakone. So again, like any track guide, I'm going to go out and run a couple of out laps, so just a couple quick laps, mainly to try and refresh my memory on things I've been seeing and thinking about. Kind of talk about what I try to do. Then I'll do kind of the slower lap, and again get a little more in depth on things I'm noticing as far as what, at least for the setup I'm running, what the car seems to want, what the track seems to, characteristics of the track that will affect all of us. And then because I do need to practice, I'm going to try and run a mock race in free play and then hopefully set up some passing situations or just get a better sense of, yeah, I think this is a good place to pass, or no, this isn't a good place to pass. But it kind of, at least lets me test it against the AI as much as I can. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's go. We're in event setup. I'm just in free play test drive right now. I'm doing it mostly clear. I'm doing this, I think, in the morning. Yeah, 8 a.m. Yeah, in the morning. And then for fuel and tires, I'm running soft tires and just about 10 laps of fuel. So take it for what it's worth. And again, the tune I'm running, we're all running different tunes on Thursday. Or, this is for me, it simply is whatever the default when I plug the info in for Forza Tune Pro, and it gives me the settings there. For the most part, that's what it is. The only tweaking I'll do is I will use the gearing section as far as what the game will suggest, but then I do play with that top speed to kind of dial into where I think the gearing should be. But I'm not a tuner, so it's basically just give me something that's a little better than the stock. I'll then drive around if there are still issues to be dealt with. But okay, let's go ahead and start race, and hopefully steering works. Okay, so third gear. This will be a fourth gear turn. Inside curving. Curves are weird here. I think it just depends how you hit them. I'll race it down here for turn one. Fifth, I'm going to take it on the fourth, and again, tires cold, so missing the apex. Missing all the apexes while I hit this one. To the right. I'm going to be neat and tidy on this one. Get a little curve, and then I can go ahead and abuse this curve. And I'll abuse it more next time. I'll drift back naturally to the right. Back to the left, set up. And fourth gear, hit the apex here. Now, that curving is a little suspect, so be careful of that. If you're going to cross over it, don't kiss it. It's a fourth, at least for me, with the gearing I'm running. Gear. Back end wants to step out, pushing out a little wide. Yeah, that's going to be a fun turn to get consistently. I'm always missing that apex, but the circuit is so wide, there's going to be so many lines to take through here. Let's really abuse this curve this time. It's kind of tough to see with the sun where it's at. Right to the right, starts bringing back to the left, setting up just for that first red signboard there. Seems to be a good place to brake. Depending on the lighting, the braking line is really tough to see in this corner. Actually, I think I could do that in fourth. Line this out in fourth, or you can pop it to fifth briefly. And that's if you're running a 6th gear too. Seems to work all right there. Come on, turn. All right. So let's talk about the lap here a little bit. So racing down here 5th gear, the braking is, you know, obviously when you start to see the tarmac kind of start to come out, you know, that's your first warning sign. You start to see the first thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we start taking count, you know, the orange bollards out there. But it is braking rated. With this car, for me, it is that 200 board is. If you can see it, that's what I'm looking for. I don't see the numbers on it because I'm old, my eyes are bad. But that's where I'm using the braking. Just one other note, just in general, off track at Hakone, it's not quite grass, but it's not quite painted asphalt. It's something in between. So you'll see it here. It'll be on the long straight up the hill. Try to stay off of it because it will, again, because it has a little bit more resistance. It'll pull the car. You know, if you get your left sides on it, it's going to pull the car to the left, or the right sides are like that. But so I'm not quite sure what material that is. It's softer than the asphalt. And you can kind of clearly see the difference between the materials there. But turn 1, braking about 200 board. For me, down to 5th at least. Well, I'll be in 5th. I'll be down to 4th through here. Now the track map this is kind of, I almost call it a hit miss hit. So if you look, there's definitely the first apex here. Then there's a second one that I think we'll all miss, but then really I'm just going to miss that one a little wide so that I can hit the third, you know, one late on the right side on the way out. So kind of similar to the Nürburgring, you have that one corner that's got 3 apexes. Hit the first one, the last one, miss the second one. So I think that's the philosophy here. Is I'm going to try and get to the apex here, let the car come out, maybe about mid-track, bring the car back across. I'm sorry, Matt, I see your chat invite. I'm a little busy right now. But what I'm trying to do is to bring the car back. So in double apexing this long corner is hit the first one, bring the car out, and then ideally try to bring it back so that you're alongside the right side of the track as you're exiting. You kind of where the you know, I'm probably going to get there early, but definitely by the time the curving ends, you want to be on the right side. In the race, I think for turn 1, I think this track is wide enough. I think we found that this track raced really well with the touring cars in multiplayer. That, you know, those intro races for multiplayer, some really great. There's a lot of lines. The braking line is the ideal line, obviously, to maintain, maximize your speed out. But I think in the race situations, especially lap 1, turn 1, there's going to be a lot of different lines you can take through here. The hope is that in the race, whatever jockeying we do through the first half of this corner, that hopefully by this point, we're starting to funnel into at least, if not single file, at least maybe 2 wide with a little overlap, you know, with some room to race, because this next chicane is best done single file. But we'll talk about that later. But anyhow, I'm going to have the car on the right side. Gonna keep it here. For the chicane, this is where, you know, when you practice here, and the nice lady narrator kind of talks about the track. She does mention the curbs. Oh, you got to be careful on it; it'll upset the car. And I think for this chicane, it is, at least here with this vet and for the setup I'm running, it's how you hit the curb. So if you're going to hit the curbs, the more, you know, how best do I put it? Because, you know, I'm so eloquent. Um, as you hit a curb, you hit a bump. If you're hitting it straight and kind of going with the direction the tire wants to go, you're going to be fine. You just get a little bump, the car's going to keep going straight. The more lateral movement the tire's making at the same time as it's hitting that bump, the easier it is. It's going to the easier it will be to upset the car. So especially, you know, maybe not so much on the softs when they come up to temp, but definitely the mediums, and then for Stu and I, definitely for the first lap or so, the hards. Yeah, any excessive lateral movement crossing over these curbings, especially if there's, you know, if there's any bit of weight transfer to the left or right side of the car, is gonna unsettle it. So for this chicane, so boiling it down, for this chicane, I'm not going to abuse the curbing for here. Because what I'm finding is, even though I'm crossing over, by the time I'm crossing back over the curbing onto the track, it is that I still have a little bit of turn here. I might just be starting to unwind it, but the tires crossing there's a little bit more lateral movement across the curbing for the tire as it's going forward, and I just found that it always just slightly upsets the car a little bit. So for me, I'm probably, if I'm going to get on the curb, I might kiss it. I'm probably not going to cross over it. Now, that being said, setting up for the second one here, this one, I think when I get into rhythm, oh, I'm going to abuse the crap out of this curbing. It is going to be a late turn in, and I'm going to stop here. If you can see, again, here's where we're talking about the different materials. I think that the inner white is that softer, not quite grass, not quite asphalt material. I'm going to try and stay off of that, but what I'm be aiming for is I want to cross the curbing, but I want to be exiting about where you can just see where the red painted on the inside of the curb. That's asphalt. So what I'm going to try and do is, and we'll see how well I do it in the practice race, is if I'm going to cross over the curb, now I'm probably crossing over a lot later than I will when I get in, you know, when I get up to speed. But the whole idea is that I'm going to cross back across here, and I should have the wheel fairly straight. That's the other thing too. With the wheel fairly straight, the weight's balanced, the car's not going to get upset as much crossing back over the curbing. But I'll let the car come all the way out to the left, and then we're going up the hill. Again, I'm going to probably stay off the outside curbing here because it'll upset the car a little bit. And then again, softer material on the other side. Let's see, is this the softer material? Yeah, it is. Who knows? That might be grass. It's really smooth grass. But I'm going to let the car come all the way to the right. It's just the natural left-right of the road is going to, you know, without doing much steering, the car's just going to naturally come back across to the right. Probably as I get past the access road here, coming up the hill where this Armco starts, I'll bring the cars back across to the left so that it's going to cross back over, and I'm parallel with the road once it straightens out. Again, braking, I think, because I'm not paying attention, is the 200 board. I can never see the numbers at speed. But I'll be in sixth gear for the tune I'm running. For me, then, this is brake down to fourth. And I'm just going to stop it here a second. If you look at this corner, I'm still trying to figure out, the entry's the same. It's the exit, I think, depending on the tire, as far as what line you want to take out and what you'll tend to do. Definitely for me, it's a fourth gear. Oh, let me put it down. There we go. It's a fourth gear corner here. I'm going to try and hit the apex. Maybe get on the curbing a little bit. Let the car come out to the outside. This curbing, stay off of it. You can kind of see it's got some bounce to it. At least anytime I've just gotten on it, it's really upset the car, and it's made the next right hander a little more difficult. You might experiment, maybe crossing over and getting, just committing to getting the left sides across that curbing. but then you still got to bring it back across when you turn in for the next corner. And that might upset the car a little bit more, just again because you're trying to bring the car back across and you've got weight transfer on the left side, and depending on the tire. So I would say experiment, cross that one or touch those curbs at your own risk. The other thing I've noticed is, depending on the time of day, if you're relying on the braking line and the time of day happens to be clear and late in the afternoon, or the setting sun's that way, it's going to make that braking line almost impossible to see. So a static reference I'll look at is the start of the inside uh, billboard there for the curve. That between that and then the red inside of the painted uh, grass turf curbing that on the inside of the curbing. That, if you can get your eyes on that, that's a little easier to spot if you can't see the braking line, to help you gauge where to brake. And you can even see, again, other things I look at now that I'm sitting looking at it. The red's easier for me to spot. You might key off of the yellow painted stripe on the Armco. Just whatever helps you. And I would say for here, if you're already looking inside for your reference point, you've already got your eyes kind of looking into the corner as well. That should make the corner easier to take. So still in fourth gear. This is one, I think my tendency is to late apex this so that I'm kind of heading down the hill on the right side to set up for the next couple of corners. But just in running different laps in the tire compounds, like the soft tire compound, you can really, I think the braking line wants you to go all the way out. I'm not sure which is quicker. I think maybe the tire is going to dictate that. I think certainly the softer tires, you can get way more aggressive back on the throttle out of this corner than you can, say, on the mediums or the hards if you have to run the hards next week. But regardless, whether you're going to bring the car all the way out or if you're going to try and late apex and exit on the right side, you do want to get the car back to the right side. I'll be in fourth gear here for the tune I'm running. Coming down the hill, if my fourth was a little longer, I would leave it in fourth, but I'll probably pop it to fifth, heading down here. And this is another one where I don't have a static reference yet because I'm still relying on the braking line. But this is a quick brake. And if I'm in fifth, I will bring it down to fourth. The turn in, this is another turn where I don't know if it's any faster or not. If you want to get aggressive and you want to cross over the curbing late and bring the car out, the game will let you do that. I might be a little more neat and tidy, but setting up for this next corner, I'm probably going to be a little bit more to the left of the suggested line on entry. I like opening this one up a little bit more to help get the car in, especially if I'm carrying a lot of momentum. This one I'm still trying to get sorted out, whether it's better to do it in third or fourth. I think it just depends on traffic. I think because fourth feels a little too low in the rev range, and then third is a little too high. So so again, default gearing. If I was really going to start messing with the gearing, the question is if I fix it for this corner, do I screw it up for another one? So I'd rather just deal with what I got. But the exit is a late apex. You want to bring the car and keep it on the right side. And I don't have a definitive turn point here. So probably as I go through the practice race, I'm going to kind of base it off of, I'm going to be looking at where am I turning in, where am I braking and turning in relation to the curbing here on the outside that I'm going to try and stay off of. And then also just based off poles and like that, what am I seeing on the inside that's going out of view as I get to the corner? Maybe it is that boxy pole there, or maybe it's the end of the upper billboard there that helps me gauge it. It might be the light pole. So we'll see what I notice as I get into the race. Again, not done a ton of laps here to get that all sorted out. I think the final turn for me, I can do it in the higher gear, fourth gear, if I've got good momentum. What I'm still trying to sort out, my tendency is I turn in too early. And for the apex, again, if you want to cross over the curb, you can. If you want to keep it neat and tidy on the curb, you can. What I'm still trying to get sorted out is, at least for the downforce I'm running, once I'm off the curb and I'm trying to roll back into the throttle, if I've turned in too early, I'm having trouble where the car starts to push. and I've either got to really crank the wheel or I've got to back out of the throttle. What I really want to try and get to is to get the turn in right, and maybe it's a little bit later of a turn in, so that as I get to the apex and I can really commit back to the throttle, that once I go back to full throttle, I'm full throttle. I don't want to have to lift or balance it coming out of the corner, because that's going to slow me up a little bit. Might set me up for a draft down the front straight into turn one. But on the exit, if you want to play chicken with the wall, you can cross over this curving here. Just know, I think we've all clunked this at one point or another on the exit. And that's a lap of Hakone. And again, bring it back over to the left side, then you're setting up for the first turn. I think my general opinion, I think this track races hopefully a lot like tunnel. I think this track is going to race a lot like, for me, I think similar to Watkins, where you've just got some really nice flowing corners. It's pretty wide, consistently wide around the tracks. I think that's going to also hopefully promote really good drafting, some good passing, some good crossover lines, hopefully some good side by side. I think the challenge is, and we've gotten a lot better, is just navigating turn one and then just getting sorted out by the time we get to the chicane. If we try to really race 2 or 3 wide through the chicane, it's going to be messy. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and let's go ahead and end this. Exit. We're going to quit race because I don't trust redoing the lobby. Just going straight into the circuit race. Again, it's Forza issues. Let's go to advanced setup. So let's go ahead and set up the, I'm going to set up the practice race. I totally forgot what my lap times were. You'd think I would be more prepared. We'll do the C8.R. Okay, so let's go. We're going to go circuit race. It was what? We'll go 19 laps. I like doing odd laps because it makes my pit strategy easier. Starting time of day, I'm going to take a chance. We're going to go random. And I'm going to take a chance and go random, though I reserve the right. If it's raining, I'm going to change it. Time progressive rolling, whether it's random, starting track rubber. Yeah, we'll start starting. You know what? I'm going to turn dynamic track rubber on. I have no idea if we run with that on the weekly races, but let's go ahead and number of drivatars, 23. Cars, Forza GT. I'm going to change this to the model family of, oops. I want Chevrolet Corvettes. And that's fine there for the rules, expert rules. Standing start, grid ordering by random. I've given up on trying to get it where I start at the back. That's fine. Mandatory pit stops 1. And okay. I think that does it. Okay on that. And we'll load up and we'll see what we get. No rain, no rain, no rain. Ah, good, no rain. Hakone Grand Prix circuit. A little intro narration.
It can be a distracting concrete canyon down Hakone's front straight, past the grandstands, press boxes, and luxury suites. So focus on finding a car to draft behind to increase your acceleration.
Good advice. All right, so the other things we discussed on Thursday, and I'm going to do it now, we'll see how it is in the race, is as we're finding with the default audio levels, our opponent Corvettes are louder than our engine noise that we're hearing in our own car, so that can make shifting a little difficult. So I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to go across to audio. And now again, I've turned my master output down to 65 just for sake of streaming, to try and get mic to audio balance correct, or at least better. But player engine, opponent car. So I'm going to just drop that down. I'm going to drop it down to 80%. We'll see what that sounds like. And we'll go from there. But that would be, hopefully, I think that's all we would need to do, is just lower that to our taste. And close, save. Okay, car, fuel and tire. All right, since I'm trying to simulate race conditions for me, I have to run hard and mediums. So we'll put, oh, lap time 1:16. All right, hang on. Because I need to validate race laps here a second. Oh, I've got that turned off. Minute 20, 16, so every 4 laps is a minute. Yeah, I can't do math in my head. I fail. Now we'll just keep it 19 laps. Well, 19 laps actually. We'll drop it to 17. We'll take 2 laps off. And, so hopefully I can do that. Hopefully it lets me do that without changing the settings I've got. So yeah, it looks like I'll be fine. 17 afternoon. Rolling thunderclouds, that's fine. Okay. All right, that's all set. Let's go. Whoops, no. Let's start race and see how questionable my racecraft is. Excuse me, I had to brake for the guy in front of me. And cold tires. Leave room on the inside, just because I don't know. And it's a shift. Alright, let's see if I can get a good people are checking out. Wow, huge run. Just in case. Fourth gear. Oh, a couple guys got together there. Wow, Jones chopping in there. Like, again, it's. They're just. I'm not sure what it is with the AI. I know they're kind of doing that, reacting to the other cars in front of them, but it seems to be a little too sudden. And my expectation is because I am on the hard tires, I'm assuming everybody else is at least on the soft compound. Yeah, and that's hard tire compound. That I should be able to take that flat next lap. This is just past the 200 board. Oh. Maybe I shouldn't cross over the curbing there. See if I can do it flat this time. Yeah, it takes 2 laps to get the hards up to 10. bad we can't make the AI kind of do the same. You can't run the same tire compound per stint, make the switch, but I'll take what I can get. Yeah, you can get, once you get the car turned for that first part, you should be able to get back to full throttle all the way out. Push. Too far back to make a dive here, so it's just trying to set up for the run up the hill. Gonna take a slightly defensive line. Just again, I don't want to chop over in front of him, even though there was probably plenty of room. Inside curving, or outside curving, inside, the right side curving. There we go, that's consistent. It's the touchy thing with the hard compound is I can't be quite as aggressive on getting power down out of some of these corners that I'll be able to get away with the medium tire, and then certainly the soft. Just little confidence lift. I wasn't sure that I was going to hold it there. Okay, good. No engine damage yet. Yeah, so I'm turning in for the chicane right at that transition on the paint on the right side, where it kind of goes from the solid red to the red and white pattern. I'm trying to bring the car back to the left here when the paint turns white on the right side. the second part of this corner, it kind of crests out a little off camber on the exit, which, you know, at least with the hard tires, I can kind of feel when I hit that crest because the back starts to step out a little bit. A little bit more aggressive on the braking. I'm still turning in too early. So yeah, so we hit the first apex here, right about where the second one is. You can kind of see then that's where it kind of goes downhill a little bit on the exit. Horrible line, but again, Hakone is nice and wide. It's a bit forgiving if you get offline slightly. I'm actually going to run, because I'm all focused, I'll run 10 laps on the hards and then do the last 7 on the mediums. Box this lap. Best line out of there. Okay, pit entry. Let's see what this is. I think it's just we keep it to the right. Okay. All right, so it is going to catch you before that turn. So go full throttle in and just trust that it's going to do that. So we'll go that, we'll skip. Oh, I do have a little bit of drivetrain damage. Yeah, so yeah, it'll catch you before the turn, so you can just floor it straight into the pits. All right, let's see how we do in the medium, see if I can make up some of that gap to the leaders. All right, so as you exit the pits, you get let go. You just keep it to the inside. Right, yeah, brake right before the red on the right side there, and then you should just be able to roll back to the throttle, back online, and there we go. Full tires, so the mediums are maybe a little bit. Should be able to hit the spot in the mediums, straight out of the box. Still there. too quick. Take a look. Draft up the hill. Certainly I'm quicker out of the chicanes, I gotta be careful. There. I like taking a later apex through there. Stay wide, bring it back across. Pulling away from AD behind me. Can't make up my mind if I want to cross over the curbing or not. And I just wind up getting my tires on it. which is absolutely the worst thing I want to do at that corner. And 14. There we go. Still kind of hanging out there. That is Hakone. 114.9 on the mediums. I'm not sure if there's any more there. 22, yeah. So 17, 18 laps, I'm guessing, for the race then. Because even if like tack on another, what, 23, yeah. So I would say 17, 18 laps probably. It depends. It depends on how much trouble we get with the lobby. You're just going through qualifying and like that. So that's Hakone. Again, just really, really nice, graceful, fast racetrack. Reminds me a lot of Watkins Glen. So hopefully, it's smooth, it's wide, and except for a couple of just tricky areas where you just got to be careful with that chicane, I'm hoping this should actually I'm hoping for a really good race where you get some good drafting battles, get some good alternate lines and corners, maybe some crossovers, but fingers crossed. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break and then come back. And the second race this coming Thursday is Grand Oak. I think it's National Reverse, but I'll double check that before I start the stream. So hope you guys are having a great weekend so far, and see you soon on track. Happy racing.